Bonjour and bienvenue. Je m'appelle Ryan McKern. And tonight on the Wicked Webs We Weave podcast, we venture to the weeping willows and mist rising off the bayou. Cypress mouldering plantations and rustic wrought iron. Tales of pirates, curses, and secret religions. There's plenty about Louisiana to make your hair stand, blood boil, your soul chill. Warm yourself by the juju of the swamp and ghost story fires, mon ami. Without further ado, let's run down the tales among the Bayou State's most haunted roads and folklore of Louisiana. This is the Wicked Webs We Weave. Fifoulet, the Pirate's Curse. The legendary pirate Jean Lafitte once used Louisiana's labyrinth swamps as his personal treasure vault, bearing ill-gotten riches where none could find them. But according to local lore, Lafitte employed a gruesome security system, murdering one of his own men at each burial site, binding the poor soul's spirit eternally to guard the treasure. These restless spirits manifest in eerie, floating lights called Fifoulet. Glowing with an otherworldly blue radiance, those who have witnessed these spectral illuminations describe sensing a malevolent presence and claim the lights sometimes lure greedy treasure seekers deep into the swamps and never to return again. One particularly chilling tale tells of two friends who followed a Fifoulet to a buried treasure. Overcome by greed, one man struck his companion unconscious to claim the riches for himself. As he began gathering the gold, the ground beneath him suddenly transformed into quicksand. His screams awakened his friend, who fled in terror. When he later returned with help, the ground had hardened completely, with no trace either of his traitorous companion or the treasure. The vengeful tracks of the Devil's Swamp, near the town of Thibodeau, lies an area ominously named Devil's Swamp, where supernatural phenomenon cluster around abandoned train tracks, cutting through the marsh. Some believe the spirits here are victims of train accidents, while others claim that they're tormented souls of enslaved people who perished on the surrounding plantations. Thrill seekers who park their vehicles on these tracks report terrifying experiences, invisible forces violently rocking their cars, mysterious handprints appearing on windows, and suddenly fog without explanation, and engines mysteriously stalling on the tracks mid-point. Perhaps more terrifying than the ghost, however, is the fact that Devil's Swamp is currently designated as a Superfund site by the EPA, an area so contaminated and toxic that only humans' entry is restricted. For the chemicals, and one must wonder, are the supernatural phenomenon merely hallucinations induced by chemical exposure, or are these poisons in the ground the least of visitors' worry? Our next tale is entitled Frenchtown Road, the Devil's Playground. On the outskirts of Baton Rouge, Frenchtown Road cuts through a forest so dense that the trees form walls of impenetrable darkness on either side. At the road's heart lies an old train trestle covered in disturbing graffiti, pentagrams, occult symbols, and warnings to turn back. For decades, rumors have circulated about satanic cults gathering in the surrounding woods to perform rituals. During the midst of the satanic panic especially, visitors have reported seeing unseen eyes watching from among the trees, disembodied, and speak of shadowy figures that appear at the road's edge before vanishing into the underbrush. More disturbing are tales of claiming satanic worshippers have used the wrestle for human sacrifice, hanging victims whose tormented souls now join the chorus of entities haunting the area. While such stories likely stem from urban legend rather than fact, The undeniable atmosphere of dread that permeates Frenchtown Road continues to attract those seeking to test their courage against the unknown. The creatures of the deep. The bayou's murky waters conceal more than alligators and cottonmouths. According to the cryptozoologist, several unclassified creatures may lurk beneath the surface. The Altamanaha, originally part of Georgia folklore from the lower Muscogee Creek tribe, is described having a sturgeon-like body with an alligator head, sharp teeth, and large front flippers. Witnesses estimate these creatures between 20 and 30 feet long, while primarily associated with Georgia waterways. A vacationing family reported seeing an encounter with the Alhama while jet skiing in southeastern Louisiana waters. Even more terrifying is the rumored existence of the dino-gator, a prehistoric-sized alligator measuring up to 50 feet in length that supposedly hunts in the deepest parts of the bayou. An exciting and exhilarating thrill of tales, no doubt, shared by campfires. Ghost stories amongst families. We next now discuss the skunk ape. While Florida claims the majority of skunk ape sightings, these foul-smelling cryptids reportedly inhabit swamplands throughout the southern states, including Louisiana. Standing approximately 6 feet tall and covered in brown fur, the skunk ape earned its name from the overwhelming stench it emits. In central Louisiana, residents of Cotton Island have discovered strange hair samples and massive footprints possibly belonging to these creatures. In the year 2000, a diver near the town of Trout reported colliding with a large, hairy being that damages his vehicle before vanishing into the swamp. Sightings of these mysterious hominids date back to at least the 1850s, when a Louisiana newspaper reported encounters with a tall, hairy, wild man in the region. While skunk apes have reportedly never been harmed to humans, or have never harmed humans in general, their glowing red eyes and predatory behavior toward animals continue to terrify bayou residents. The Children of the Swamp is perhaps the most heartbreaking bayou legend to involve the spectral children known as Letiche and Loudons. According to Cajun folklore, Letiche are the spirits of unbaptized infants who denied entrance to heaven. They are condemned to wander the swamps eternally. Some Native American-influenced versions of the legend claim Letiche were once human children who became separated from their families and were raised by alligators, evolving into amphibious beings. These creatures allegedly delight in capsizing the boats of travelers who venture too deep into their territory. Similarly, Loudons, mischievous entities adopted from French folklore, are believed by the Cajuns to be the souls of unbaptized children trapped in limbo. They can supposedly control weather, turn invisible, and transform into animals, shapeshifters, and their pranks range from innocent mischief, like braiding sleepers' hair, to more malevolent acts like spoiling food and destroying property. Still with us? Merci beaucoup. Our next tale is the rougarou, Louisiana's folklore werewolf. When French settlers arrived in Louisiana, they brought with them tales of the loup-garou, the werewolf. This legend evolved in the bayou into the rougarou, a fearsome shapeshifter said to stalk the swamps in search of prey. According to Cajun tradition, the curse of the rougarou passes from one person through their blood contact. Those afflicted transform into wolf-like creatures with a hunger for human flesh. Parents often invoked the rougarou to frighten disobedient children, warning that the beast would carry them away in the night if they misbehaved. A still fear induced lycanthropy. The Catholic Church reportedly used the rougarou legend to enforce religious observance, claiming that Catholics who failed to observe Lent and abstinence would transform into the creatures. Superstitious locals place 13 objects outside their homes to confuse the rougarou, which allegedly cannot count past 12. The Honey Island Swamp Monster. In 1963, hunter Harlan Ford emerged from the Honey Island Swamp with an incredible story. He and his companion had encountered a 7-foot-tall, hair-covered creature standing over a slain boar. Around the carcass, they discovered bizarre footprints featuring 3 webbed toes, tipped with claws, with tracks unlike any known animal. Subsequent sightings earned that the creature the nickname Louisiana Wookiee, due to its resemblance to the Star Wars character. Local mythology attempted to explain the beast's existence through an outlandish theory. Chimpanzees that escaped from a crashed circus train had bred with alligators, creating an entirely new species. I mean, these folklore tales are so much fun, aren't they? While skeptics suggest that witnesses may have encountered misidentified wildlife or the aforementioned skunk ape, believers maintain that something truly extraordinary stalks the Honey Island swamps. The Honey Island Swamp, indeed, is full of fun, rich history and stories. The tales of the bayou never cease to amaze. The Parlengua, half man, half alligator. The most recent addition to Louisiana's cryptid catalog emerged in the 1960s, when a partially devoured body was recovered from a submerged car. A Rapis parish. The unusual nature of the remains sparked rumors of a new predator, neither fully human nor fully alligator, but a horrifying combination of them both, dubbed the Parlengua by paleo-reptilians, supposedly migrated throughout the state, with sightings reportedly by fishermen, trappers, and farmers who blame the creature for livestock disappearances. Whether the Parlengua represents a genuine cryptid or merely an extension of the region's alligator fears remains debated among folklorists. And personally, from my standpoint, I cannot wait to hear more stories of this fascinating creature, and more to come in future generations. As darkness falls over the bayou and the cypress trees emerge like grasping fingers from the black water, these legends take on new life. Perhaps they serve as cautionary tales, warning traveler against the very real dangers of the swamps. Disorientation, quicksand, predators, or perhaps those in moments when fog reaches the twisted trees and something splashes in the distance. There's more truth to these stories than rational minds are going to admit. But the fun, radiant, and vibrant tales that we share of these cryptids, not only in Louisiana but beyond, bring so much joy and fascination, curiosity, and imagination to all. For in the Louisiana Bayou, where the civilization's boundary grows thin and primordial wilderness still reigns, the line between legend and reality blurs like reflections in the murkies of the water. Merci beaucoup, ladies and gentlemen, and this concludes our special broadcast, a Louisiana Cryptids episode of The Wicked Webs We Weave. Thanks to all of you for listening in this broadcast, watching the videos on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, and everywhere else where you like to enjoy podcasts and might hear this broadcast. Your support is most appreciated, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please check the links in the description of the YouTube video for references and the research into making this video and podcast episode. Once more, I'm your host, Ryan McKern, and until we meet again on a foggy bayou boat with the realms of the supernatural unknown, le bon temps roulé. Until next time, au revoir.